Hi, everyone. Face is a place where traders come to become an ace. We have any aces out there? Shooting down any pips? How's everyone doing today? Welcome, viewers at investing.com. Have an excellent guest for what's happening in the Middle East. I guess, some people forgot to put their hedges on, producers in the Middle East, so they're shooting up tankers. Got some type of bear market rally happening in crude oil. Everyone doing okay? So I want to start off with the dollar. So we had this breakout Friday, and I'm a pretty jaded guy, skeptical when markets give you a lot of time to act. This was a breakout day, and we've had almost all week to accumulate above the breakout. But I'm going to give it through the end of the week to prove itself. And to me, it looks like we could get a weaker dollar today. Any day that I see euro, even if it's marginally outperforming cable, which takes me to EG, which now I think has a chance to make a run at new highs, and I'll be looking to short it again. But this was a decent short, right? Maybe it's going to fail from here. Maybe this is just ABC. We're heading down. I think there's a shot for one more drive up here towards 89.50. But it's rallied pretty good with cable giving up the ghost for a while yesterday. Anyway, my take is that you have to give it a shot in the euro on the long side. You don't have to. No one's compelled. And we could still work lower. I wouldn't want to see closes in euro back under 112.75. And really, the tell is this. So Dixie, down 4, euro up 6, but look at a correlated asset. U.S. dollar Swiss down 35 pips. It led the way when the dollar was peaking a couple weeks ago. It wasn't close. Okay, it was up here when it failed, and we had that break in the dollar last week. So Swiss is leading the way down, traders. Why don't you give me a why if you can see what I'm talking about and see the correlation and understand my reasoning and rationale for this occurring, giving the dollar a shot. Okay, let me see. See, so I don't see anything there. Maybe it's under chat. Q&A. Q&A is where I look for you guys. So I don't see it. Okay, so with that being said, I think the yen still has a shot for another low down at 107.60. In fact, short, risking this high, looking for this line to be tagged with fib confluence there at 107.60. I know people have lower targets. I've seen 730, 720, 620. Blake and I were talking yesterday. Right now, this daily candle doesn't look bad, but giving that a shot because I don't believe this pop in the S&Ps, okay? That 2910 level, this was pretty impulsive from here to here. And right now, this looks like a failing rally to me that we're getting in S&Ps. Hello, viewers on investing.com. So to me, it looks like this correction could unfold, and this is a failing rally. And my bet is that as the market weakens, U.S. dollar yen weakens, and perhaps we get one more shot down in yields because I'm looking for bond shorts. So let's see here, the yields. Here's the 10-year down a little bit. So when I look at this, the form says I could get a 3 down here. The low last week in the 10-year was 205.5. So going to need about 6 bips or so for this to happen. So we'll see what happens here. I think it could be setting up a major low in yields in the coming days, weeks, and looking to take advantage of possibly the bond bubble, letting some air out of there for a little while. Just one last look on precious metals. Looks like gold has a chance for another high. We start getting through 1340 because we did have divergence here. So let's see if we could get one more high. And I keep looking for a high in the gold silver ratio. It's starting to move sideways, but silver looks not as strong. You got to go with the gold, and just some type of move up here would take it above 1350, and then you're talking about major breakout territory, right? You got to go the weekly for major breakout territory. There it is. You know, this line up here, 1375. So, well, I think it's going to happen. We'll see what silver does on it, but I think this is going to happen. Maybe it happens during this correction in the S&P that I'm forecasting on this potential failing rally that we have going on here. You know, this is a great time to consider. No, don't consider. If you're a trader, just click the mouse. Sign up. Oh, look, I'm a member. Okay, so that's what you'll get. You'll get a confirmation so that you have access every day to this. To all of this research, to all this different full methodologies, Elliott, harmonics, basic tech, candlestick, macro, to one of the best teams on the net. Call me subjective. I'll call it the best. I want to look at what Andre is thinking here in the euro. There it is. So it looks like we had a completion. Plus, any methodology you're interested in, there are definitions so you could learn harmonic patterns, a little bit about Elliott, basic technical. So really, I think this is a great website that the owners of ForexAnalytix put together. I know they poured a ton of sweat equity into it and quite a bit of cash. So give it a shot, give it a quarter, and give yourself some more ammunition and some more ideas. You could end up joining the chat room every day. If you're not at work, or if your boss doesn't watch what you're doing at your workstation, you could be in our member chat. And with all that being said, stick around for Tracy Shigrel at CHIGRL, very popular, very insightful analyst when it comes to the energy markets. And after this big break we've had from 66.5 and tankers starting to leak because of attacks, I'm really looking forward to talking to Tracy and seeing what her head's at, because I have a hard time getting short. I talked about this with Blake yesterday. I just can't short it down here. So maybe this is going to give us a nice bear market rally to give us another shot for entry. So Blake, how are you today? I hope your feet feel better. You soaked them all night and you're ready to rock and roll today, buddy.
Yeah, I don't soak. I'm not a bath person, but I do feel a little bit better today. I'm recovering.
All right.
Yesterday I was a little out of sorts we
had a hangover from Disneyland.
Yeah, it's like you need a vacation from vacation. Disney is one of those places that is, you can really wear yourself out, and I did, that's for sure. So let me go ahead and grab the screen over here.
Yeah, I know yesterday you were probing long euro, Blake, and it really didn't do anything. Do you still have the conviction that you're
I do, as long as we stay above this 112.50.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, just FYI, Tory leadership votes are going through with in the UK, and you can see the pound spiked up to 95. It's back down to the 80 level. There's just looking at some of these votes that are coming in. We've got Boyo at 114. Let's see. Leadham at 11 gets dropped out at. Amanda was saying just some of the the votes, like Harper only got 10. So a lot of these votes that are coming in light, these people are going to get scrapped for the, for the leadership, Tory leadership position. So the pound's getting a little volatile on, some of those votes, and I'm not really following, the at this level why the cable is moving up or down regarding that. But I think technically you gotta think that the cable is still, as long as we trade below this 127.75 level, this resistance here, there's no reason to be long the cable at this point. But that's what's causing a little bit of volatility. If you're wondering, well, why is the pound whipping around right now? It's because these leadership votes are all going through at the moment, and I like I said, I don't know really what to do with the cable at this point while we're below this 127.75. We were looking at this possible inverted head and shoulder pattern, but we're running a little long in the tooth. Let me grab my drawing tool here. Give me 1 second. That's okay. Let me see. Annotate.
Amanda's saying over 105 is more or less a done deal.
So you can see this right here. As long as this little shoulder here is getting a little long in the tooth, so we need to make a break higher, like pronto, in order for this to really play out. But it's kind of something I'm paying attention to for right now. Not let's see, clear all drawings. I'm just trying to figure out our Zoom. I'm still trying to figure out how to use Zoom in its entirety. But anyway, going back to the euro dollar. So this is the euro. I won't really get, worried about my longs while we're above 112.50. If we close below 112.50, that's when I start to worry about it. I am still long. Actually, I picked up some euro on the dip yesterday. I sold it at 40 or 36 or 30, somewhere right up here yesterday. On that spike up following the CPI numbers. And then when we dropped back to 113.10, I picked up the euro again. As I had mentioned to you guys yesterday on the webinar, I was going to buy the dip, and I did. So I'm still long. I got put in at a better price as of yesterday. So now, obviously if I picked it up right now, I'd own it at even a better price, but it's fine. I don't worry about it. I still think that the euro dollar is constructively trying to carve out a bottom coming out of this descending wedge. And that goes back to something I actually wanted to discuss here with ForexAnalytix. So with ForexAnalytix, if you guys don't know this, these are patterns in play. So a pattern in play is basically a pattern that the market has shown us that typically will, by the book, yield us a certain move based on, what we see developing in the market, whether it's a ABC correction or it's a Gartley pattern or a wedge breakout, blah 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 blah, whatever the pattern that is developed. Like, for example, the euro dollar, you can see it's a descending wedge. What I noted is that we had a descending wedge. This is a breakout from last Friday, right? Just because I'm bullish doesn't mean that I'm going to be long. I personally use these patterns in play more as a guideline for what I'm doing in the market, like to register my bias. In other words, like you can see, like the close patterns in play. Like here's Steve playing the ascending wedge on the S&P, and his target was hit. Well, he was playing this, as a particular trade, but his bias was a certain direction until you either get to the invalidation or the target. Doesn't mean that you're going to be long or be short the whole way. Like, for example, I was bullish on the euro dollar. I had bought it and I'd sold it, took a little bit of profits, and then I'm already rebuying it or rebought it yesterday, you know, and I'm just trying to find certain entry points based on my bullish bias in the market. And I still think that the euro is going to rally and eventually break the 200-day moving average. So therefore, I'm playing it on the long side. And that's the, can you use like a pattern and play and just go, oh, I'm going to go long or short based on what I see here, or based on what I see here? You can, but I think if you used it more as an assistance to help, okay, I should be bullish the euro dollar while we're above, this 112.69, or, in other, for me now, just looking at it, because it's a descending trend line, as long as it's now above 112.50. Because when I originally got in, I was looking at the trend line being at 112.70, and now it's 112.50 because it's a descending trend line. So obviously I have to adjust my thinking a little bit here, but I'm not going to adjust the invalidation points based on what I originally saw. So hopefully that helps you guys understand a little bit what those patterns in play are. You should use them as more of a bias versus a trade recommendation, because they're really not trade recommendations. They're really just more or less us pointing out by the book what we see. And a lot of times when I have a pattern in play, if I'm let me see if I can give you an example. The Kiwi dollar. When we did this resistance break, I think I bought and sold right here. I think I bought and sold the Kiwi like 3 different times in this move up, as it rallied, through these levels, and we eventually hit the. I think we came down and hit my stop on the way down. But anyway, I traded it multiple times on the long side, through this pattern in play. Right here, you can see this pattern in play. It says, it was up 1.74%. But I think I made a whole lot more than that, because I traded it like 3 different times. So anyway, again, I hope that helps you guys out on understanding Forex analytics and patterns in play. Now, Dale said something, and Dale gives you guys a lot of little nuggets throughout the course of his time here, and his 40 some odd years in the market. He says a lot of things that really should resonate with you. And one of the things that he said this morning, and I think is really key, he goes, I don't like it when the market gives you a whole lot of time to make a play on something. Then you have to start to be a little skeptical. And this is kind of with the euro dollar. I feel the same way. I'm bullish because we broke out of this descending wedge. I'm starting to get a little nervous that we haven't continued to break out higher. By the end of the week, if we're not, trading towards the highs of the week, which is basically 113.30, 113.40, if we're not trading up here by the end of the week, I might second guess my long bias in the euro dollar. All right. But I'm still looking at, the dollar index. We still have this double top. We're rejecting the neckline right now. There's still a couple of days left in the week, today and tomorrow, before I start to get a little bit more, nervous. And what is going to make me a little
200-day, it's history under that, buddy.
Oh yeah, the 200-day moving average is holding us up. This trend line's holding us up. There are a lot of things that are, that have me a little skeptical about being short the dollar. But
DSI still 70 with this.
Yeah,
still crowded.
It's still pretty crowded as far as sentiment goes, and I'm gonna try to continue to play dollar weakness and be short the dollar. But like I said, by the end of the week, if the dollar is hanging around current levels, I might exit and re-enter when I see something that looks a little bit more, looks a little better. And I have
I've
to remind.
I
Go
just
ahead.
have a question for you because I
No,
know
sure
you're
thing.
getting ready to wrap up. Do you believe that there is a somewhat of a correlation, Blake, between Swiss and Euro? Because when the dollar was pressing new highs last week, trying to break out to new highs, the Swiss wasn't even close, and the Swiss seemed to have led the way up in the dollar. Perhaps what it's doing now is the opposite.
Yeah, the Swiss is an interesting animal, and I always have to take into
Grain of
account, and
salt
this
on
is.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, the reason why is, if the market gets a little risk averse, the Swiss franc can act a little bit better than normal. And this is our chart of the day yesterday. I mean, we're challenging the 200-day moving average on the underside. We're challenging the
yeah,
underside of this trend line. And my 2 cents was that and if you read the chart of the day yesterday, was that we were going to turn lower, you know, from the 200-day moving average, from the underside of this trend line, or if we broke out above that trend line,
right.
we broke out above here, it'd be extremely bullish.
So far, so good on that call.
So far so good, and this is one of the things that's keeping me, you know.
Similar situation with the USD CAD, Blake.
I'm sorry.
Very similar technical situation with the USD CAD.
Yeah. So the dollar CAD and guys, if you and thanks, Steve. If you read the analysis like every night, obviously I was out of town the first 2 days of the week, but I was back yesterday doing the analysis on the basic technical analysis, and the analysis was yesterday was that challenging the underside of this channel, we should turn lower, and we did. And matter of fact, I had an order at 133.50 overnight. It's already canceled. Order at 133.50 in the dollar Canadian to get short, and we never even. Well, we came pretty close. We came within a few pips, and it didn't trip my short trade. And we are turning lower. And the thing is as long as we hold these levels, whether you're talking about the dollar Canadian, the dollar Swiss, the euro dollar, as long as we continue to hold those levels, I'm not too worried about the dollar breaking down. But if you start to see the Canadian back above 133.50, if you see the Swissy above 99.50, 99.60, those levels, then I would, if I'm still long the euro, I'd probably be, strongly considering exiting those positions. But those are my thoughts right now. Let me see if we have I think we have a couple of questions. No.
Some of them are also in the chat, Blake.
I'm looking at the Q&A. So sorry, Godwin asked, do we sell the New Zealand US dollar now? Well, I'm not here to give you buy, sell, or hold recommendations, but what I will point out to you is that the Kiwi dollar is holding the 618. So you got to ask yourself, all right, you got to ask yourself this: where was the smart money selling, the Kiwi? Well, in my opinion, the smart money was selling it when we hit a new trend high. We hit a new trend high. I'm just trying to grab the pen. Here we go. We hit a new trend high. Relative strength was divergent. So smart money should have been selling up here around the 66.60. So here we are at 65.60, 100 pips lower, and a few days later. So do you want to sell it down here when you should have been selling up there? Not me. That's not something that I'd be doing, and it's not something that I'd be considering. Matter of fact, if you read the analysis from ForexAnalytix today, here's the basic technical analysis an hour ago. The Kiwi is at new trend lows, but also the 618 retracement at the 65.60 level, which may hold for the bulls, which means that we may bounce being here. And look, it's a previous breakout point, previous resistance should act as current support. I mean, when you're so close to this support, if you're trying to short down here, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Right? Another listener asked about the US dollar Swedish krona. This is one of those currency pairs that I was hoping that we'd see 952 again, because I actually want to be a seller as we approach here. But you can see we're actually attacking the downtrend line once again. So the good news is, if you want to sell the US dollar Swedish krona here, you've got manageable risk. Look, if you want to sell at current levels, and put your stops like right here. I'm just, giving you guys some ideas. I'm not doing it. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. You can put your stops really close if you want, or if you want to give it a little bit more room, you put your stops above here, above the 952 level, and you start an entry here and add a little bit here if we get there, and look for eventual rollover. That's the way I'd play it personally. Now, that doesn't mean that, that's the way that, I am playing it, which, I'm actually considering. I was hoping we get closer to 950, because that's where I really wanted to be a seller. But that doesn't mean that you can't, find something to do right now. I think that these are presenting good opportunities. If you want to be a seller of dollars at current levels, I think there are a lot of currencies that are allowing you to potentially make that trade, whether it's being long the euro or short the dollar Swedish krona, or buying some Kiwi dollars. You got very manageable risk with the Kiwi. If you want to buy the Kiwi and put a 20 pip stop, there's a lot of trades that are setting up like that I think that if the dollar is going to fall, or if it's going to fail, it's going to fail near current levels. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And I'm gonna pass it over to my colleagues. Steve, by the way, you missed yesterday. Dale sang you a birthday wish, so happy birthday, Steve. And this year for your birthday, I gifted you the pleasure of doing analysis for several days in a row. So happy birthday. So don't say I never gave you anything.
Thank you. I owe you one.
Yes, you do. Yes. For my birthday, I have a feeling I might be doing analysis for a month and a half straight.
And
All right,
Steve, if you want to hear the song, you have to play the
you have to go back
video.
to the recording.
Yeah.
So
No
anyway,
encore.
happy birthday, Steve. What is it? Are you almost at the four? Are you almost at the four?
Stelio said 50 yesterday.
39 and 1 day old.
Oh, Jack Benny.
Oh,
Jack
next
Benny.
year we're gonna have to get you some black balloons. Awesome. Well, happy birthday. Glad you made it another year. Hope this one's your best. And I'm gonna pass it over to you and Stelios and Dale, and I hope you guys have a great.
We have an interesting question, Blake. Does technical analysis really make money? A friend is asking on the chat.
I'm in the camp that price will tell you a lot. I think that it's also I think that you should also have some sort of fundamental bias on why, on a macro level, why you're buying or selling something. That's why the macro analysis of ForexAnalytix is so important, because I think it gives you a baseline to trade with. So if you match up your technical analysis with some sort of macro analysis, like I am bullish the euro because I'm bearish the dollar because there's the Fed's going to be cutting rates in the coming months, blah, 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 whatever the reason is. And then you find a technical level to buy the euro based on your fundamental analysis. I think that's the way to go. And that's why ForexAnalytix, in my opinion, is such a valuable tool, because you have several different types of analysis, to look at and to take into account. And if you can get multiple types of analysis to match up, like macro, basic technical analysis, yada, 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 that gives you an edge. And that's what we're all looking for in the markets. We're looking for that edge. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Blake.
All right, guys. Hey, have a great one. Have a great interview
right?
with Chi
Tracy.
Girl. Yeah, with Tracy. I say Chi, but it should be like Chicago. So it should be Shy Girl, right? Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Because I know she's from Chicago. Anyway, have a great interview with Tracy.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank
Good
you.
luck today, Blake. Hi, birthday boy, a day later.
So, okay, actually, we did have some numbers just now. Export price index, import price index, both worse than expected, both revisions worse than expected, but really, are they going to make any difference? They're not.
Seriously doubt it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap up a few things. Blake told about the UK where we had the first round of elections.
Yeah, I think today we should start from that because we did have this. Yeah.
Yes, so we had 3 of the candidates who are out: Andrea Leadsom, Mark Harper, and Esther McVeigh. But the main thing was that Boris Johnson has a huge lead, and like Amanda said, she said anything above 105 votes is probably a done deal. He's at 114, so he confirms all the betting sites and all the estimates that he's going to be a runaway leader, and he seems to be. So. Boris Johnson.
The market doesn't seem to be reacting negatively to that.
Yeah. I mean, the question is what we were saying yesterday. Is it will the EU, the people from the EU, negotiate? Are they more likely to negotiate with somebody who's in the same mold as Theresa May, or with somebody who is a bit more unpredictable, like Boris Johnson? And remember, Boris Johnson has said he does not want a no-deal Brexit, but he's not taking it off the table. So possibly the only big weapon that the UK have so far, Theresa May didn't want to use it. So, will Boris Johnson be different? Maybe. We will. It remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen if it's a big weapon to begin with, because
yes.
I mean, is it a big weapon? I mean, would the EU offer something different if they actually showed willing to go
I think they would. The UK economy is huge compared to, it's the second
I
largest.
think it's not a given. They might. I think they might, but I don't consider it a given.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see how that goes in the second round, etc. The other thing we had was, I think Blake again talked about this briefly. We had this what are being described as attacks on 2 oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Apparently, I mean, I don't know the actual details, and I'm not there to know, but people are talking about one of them being torpedoed. So that remains to be seen. But the bottom line is oil is up 3% today, or 4, and it's looking like it's bouncing really hard. What else did we have in terms of data? We had the Aussie employment numbers better than expected. Unemployment rate rose 0.1, but participation rate also rose 0.2%. So that was, I think overall the numbers weren't that bad. Strangely, the Aussies are underperforming the Kiwis, so that was a bit weird, but that's what happened. And also we had the SNB, the Swiss National Bank, kept rates unchanged at -0.75%. And the interesting thing was that Jordan, the chair of the SNB.
Oh, yeah, we did have SNB.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no rate change was expected. But Jordan was very aggressive once more. He did say that the Swiss franc is overvalued and that there would be no hesitation to intervene in the FX market.
Personally, I think that they're doing so anyhow.
Yeah, I was going to say the S&B intervening in the FX market. Oh my God, that's unprecedented.
Yeah,
every day.
Never seen that happen before. Yeah, that's quite strange.
This is one of the reasons why I have almost never, but I haven't traded the Swiss franc in years, because there's this force behind it that can defy, can beat every other.
Speaking of the Swiss franc, and I had this conversation very recently, actually. Here you go. You can see the Euro Swiss there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm trying something different today to see if that's going to help. I'm sharing portion of my screen.
Okay.
So you can't see the quotes on the right-hand side, right? You can only see the charts.
I can't see them, so I can't know when it's stuck, if it's stuck. So you have to keep.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm using portion of the screen to see if that if that's going to make any difference. So okay, that will make it easier for you. Can you see now part of the quotes?
I can, yes.
Okay, perfect. So what we see here with the Euro Swiss, since you mentioned it, is that the Euro Swiss is still stuck within this just slightly descending channel. You can call it more or less a range. So I pretty much believe that directly the S&P has been intervening to support near this 111.50 area. I mean, there's no evidence of that, but it would be something that you would expect from the S&P, right? I mean, this range, we've now spent a year being in this range, and I don't think that the S&P would have any reason to let the market create a technical event by breaking down from this. So I think that it's quite likely, since you're talking about the S&P, somebody can use the S&P to have their backs as well, in which case I think that attempting to buy the S&P near 111.50 is probably not a bad idea, because first of all, you have an amazing risk reward, and second of all, you might actually have the S&P intervening on your behalf. Now, if for some reason we break below that, I do think that we're going to be on 110 quite soon following that.
Also good carry also, right? Well, some carry on being long.
Some carry, yeah.
Yes,
yeah. There is some carry. Yeah, definitely you don't have negative carry to begin with. You have some positive ones, so which is never a bad thing to have, indeed. Now, Dale, you have you have some comments about yesterday's interview. Well done, they say. Actually, from what I saw, you handled it quite well. I just listened to the end of it. Kalispera Costa. Let me see more questions. Use the SEC Blake already covered. Okay, so let's go through some of the major stuff before we can go into questions. First of all, there's nothing I want to add about the Euro USD. I'm looking at exactly the same thing that Blake is looking at. I got triggered yesterday. Actually, one of the very few conversations I had, I didn't participate yesterday in the chat room. So I think it was Dominic that said that he wants to be short at 133.40. I wrote back that I'm with you there. I had been looking for a retest. I initially was looking for 133.30, but there was one more day passing by. So this ascending wedge is climbing by the day. So I also had an order to sell at 133.40. I did get triggered. I'm just 8 pips in the money. I will be quite careful with this, because it doesn't really mean that it's going to work out, but I do think that from a risk reward perspective, it is really worth it. I don't want to see prices climb above 134, but I do think that as long as we are below 134, USD CAD can suffer more losses to actually test this confluence of supports, the ascending channels support and the 61.8 of the last move higher, both of them at 131.20. So that's what I'm looking with the USD CAD. There was also a friend here asking about this, so we covered this. And there was also a question about what is happening with crude. Crude, simply put, is currently stuck. I mean, it has spent several days stuck between two different horizontal support and resistance areas. You can see here I have one at $50.50, and another one at 54.75. So, we made it to that support zone. We rebounded. I said here on the webinar that we might get rejected testing that resistance. We did get rejected, but once again, we're now finding support from 50.50. Okay. So let's see how this range is going to get resolved. Usually, if first of all, let's talk about the technical scenarios. Technical scenario number one, we end up retesting and breaking up above 54.75. In this case, we have a double bottom, which would point to an extension equal to the height of this formation, right? The height of this formation is $4.25. So in that case, you would be looking for $4.25, which would point to a move towards 59 or whatever it is. Yeah. That's one scenario. Another scenario is that we keep on consolidating within this range, in which case I'm going to interpret that as a bearish consolidation, because simply put, when you have quite a strong move lower and you end up just consolidating, that is a method for the market to correct over time instead, with a big price movement. in that case, I would be expecting continuation lower. So let's wait and see how this is going to get resolved. Until that happens, you need to respect in the short term this range. Now, having to do with how the metals are doing, keep in mind I'm going to start oppositely today. This is the gold-silver ratio. Keep in mind that the gold-silver ratio is currently testing the resistance of a multi-year ascending wedge. So this is something to pay attention to, because so far we've seen quite a long period that gold has been overperforming silver. Let's see if this technical level can actually change that. I'm not advocating that you should go against the trend. I'm saying that this is an interesting level to watch. Now, looking separately at gold and silver, first of all, you can see here that gold found support at the first area we were looking for. Actually, I remember specifically because Blake wasn't here, so I was taking care of intraday technical analysis and end-of-day analysis for Monday and Tuesday. I remember explicitly writing an intraday analysis when we were testing this 1320 area, indicating how important it is. You can also see it on the 4-hour chart. Here it is. Okay, you can also see it in the 4-hour chart. That was a technical level of interest for two different reasons. Reason number one, we had an ascending wedge. Once we broke below it, an ascending wedge indicates, theory on the ascending wedge indicates that you should fully retrace that wedge. So that level was the full retracement of the wedge. It was
Great call. Yeah,
it
that's
was
really
also-
nice. What a
it was
great
also-
example. That's a textbook example, buddy.
Thank you, Coach. It was also the horizontal support resistance area. You can see it if I zoom out, you can see that this was a level that had created reaction in price when tested either or support or resistance in the past. So we did indeed find support there. We're moving higher. Now, does this mean that we're headed to new highs from here? Not necessarily, but I find no reason why you shouldn't. If you want to be something, you shouldn't be long against 1320. If you actually bought that level, now you're comfortably in the money and you can handle this trade any way you wish. Keep in mind, and that is super important, that having to do with the big picture in gold, gold is within, as you can see here, a large multi-year triangle, a triangle that has been in place since the very end of 2015. Which means that a breakout above its resistance, and I'm talking only about resistance now because we're very close to resistance, so there is no point for me to be talking about what's going to happen if we break below support. We're quite close to resistance. If we do break above that resistance, 1355, 1360, that's the general vicinity that you should be looking for to find that resistance. I think that's going to be a major bullish development, in which case you should be looking for an extension higher and most likely an acceleration higher, because I'm pretty sure there are several stop losses that have piled up above that area. Silver equivalently suffered quite a big loss that single day lower. It has recovered the 3 following days. I have to admit though that especially looking at silver, quite a big bearish candle there, and now we've spent, today is going to be the 3rd day, slowly recovering the losses. So far, counting yesterday and the day before yesterday, we posted indecision candles, a pin bar, a spinning top. So I have to admit that silver's rebound doesn't look that good to me, because if somebody gave me the price action of the last 5-6 days, I would expect that silver should push lower at least one more time, because having recovered just 50% within 3 days of what it lost within a day is the difference between a short-term impulsive move and a short-term corrective move. So and that is also what is helping trim my bullish bias about gold, because I don't really believe that gold can be breaking above multi-year highs, while silver is still, pushing lower. I mean, we can see the two of them diverging on occasion. So one of them doing better than the other, but going completely different directions, it's quite unlikely. Okay. So I want to see how this is going to get resolved, because, as I said, silver doesn't look that healthy to me. Copper, on the other hand,
Steve, your screen is frozen again.
Okay, so that didn't help. At least
Yeah.
we tried it.
I think you should try on your Mac next time, tomorrow.
That's a good idea, Stelio. I will, actually, I will. I will try on my Mac and see if that's going to make any difference.
So let me grab the
Entertain you.
screen for grab the screen for 1 second, and then
Absolutely.
you can
Actually, hold it for a little bit more than 1 second to,
sure 1 second.
because it has a higher chance of.
Let
And
me grab-
so as something I can talk about copper.
okay, I can show copper as well, but I don't have any analysis on it.
Don't
but,
worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, so we have to figure out this problem.
Yeah, we do. We're trying one thing at a time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, oil is very interesting. It's tried to look on 2 weeks in a row. It's tried to
Yeah, actually,
move
2
below.
bars in a row. Yeah, they've been one next to the other. Of course, we still have 1.5 days left for crude, but let's see how that's going to work out. Copper, by the way, Stelio, if you can go on a 4-hour chart on copper, and in a minute.
What's the ticker? It's
Copper.
just copper. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
As simple as that.
1 hour chart. 4 hour chart.
4.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like a well.
Yeah, so I mentioned the other day. You can see it here on there is a descending wedge. You can quite clearly.
Well, actually, you're talking about the shorter one.
Yeah, oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, but whatever. I just want to mention again that we had an obvious, reduction of the downside momentum. I mean, the downside momentum was clearly waning for a period of time, and then we had that short-term explosive move higher, but now we've retraced like a big part of it. So, bottom line here is.
Yeah.
Say again, Celio?
No. I was just looking at it, and it seemed to be like in a channeled move down, and now it's kind of trying to test the upside of it. But anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So bottom line here, I think that if you want to have a shot at actually buying copper here against the lows, it's a good risk-reward opportunity because we might see another push higher towards the 272 support resistance area. So, I'm not sure at all it's going to work. I think it's, quite a bet, but it is one that has a risk reward that clearly makes sense. Okay. In essence, Stelio, I can make an attempt of grabbing the screen back and tell me if there is any.
Okay.
Okay. Because I have my chart in front of me. There we go. Tell me if you can see me.
I can see you, but it's still stuck, man. This is very strange.
Actually, wait a second, Stelio. Can you take it back, because you're right that it's stuck, but it's.
Yes. Hold on.
Okay. There's something strange happening here.
Okay, I took it back.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Zoom has frozen for me. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to kill Zoom. So go on.
Okay. Actually, let's see if we have any. Where is it? Q&A. What was the Kiwi, actually? Let's have a look at that.
So, we can't see any screen, guys.
Oh, you can't see? I thought I was sharing.
No, but I'll take over here.
Okay, sorry, I thought I was sharing that.
No, see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see my screen?
I can see Steve's screen. That's weird.
Can anybody see my screen currently?
Ah, somebody says can see fine. Okay. Seems to be me then. Okay, people can see your screen. It's just me. I don't know why I can still see Steve's frozen screen. Anyway, you can carry on. People can see it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a US dollar, Swedish krona. Everybody says they can see mine. All right. So, did Steve leave?
He left Zoom. He's coming back.
Okay.
So maybe 1 minute or two.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
he was
here.
Frozen. Yeah,
I don't see anyone's screen.
So we are having a little bit of an issue with Zoom, but it looks like most people can see my screen currently. Let's see here.
Yeah, okay. We got a lot of messages. They can see cable now, they're saying.
Well, I think most people want to see. Oh, they can see the cable. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
there's nothing happening. Euro's coming off a little bit. It's kind of messy. Anyway, I know. We were just waiting for waiting for the interview, and the market's actually pretty quiet right now. Anyway, what were you saying earlier, Stelios? The only reason why I came back on is because I saw Steve's screen was
You know, guys, Tracy is here if you guys want to move forward with the interview.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, Steve was just answering questions anyway. So whatever you guys want to do, I actually have to run. So you do whatever you need to do.
Dale, do me a favor. Take over the screen for me.
Okay.
And let me know when you've done so.
Done.
Okay. And let's see. It says I'm viewing Steve's screen, but there's nothing there.
Can everyone see mine?
Nope.
By the way, I just found out there's a view options on the top of Zoom, and you can select which screen to view because Steve's is still on for some reason. So whoever can only see Steve's screen, you click that button and you select Dale Pinkert.
What button?
There's a little button on the top of Zoom saying view options. At least I have one.
Yeah, I have a view options, but
I don't. Let's see it.
interesting. So I'm wondering if you can even, and guys, we're gonna have to just apologize that this is, remember, we just started using Zoom as a replacement for GoToWebinar just over the last couple of weeks. So you have to excuse us for trying to figure this one out. I just tried to, Dale, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just tried to actually get him to stop his
So Steve, yeah, I think that, and it's even affecting my volume from hearing you. You're soft to me, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm not too sure what to do at this moment. You can try to bring in Tracy, but I don't know if she's going to be able to grab the screen.
Can you remove Steve from the room?
I'm trying.
Get rid of that guy.
Yeah, I can't even do that.
Okay. I'll try it with Tracy, see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. I'm here, so just let me know.
Okay. Hi, Tracy. I just promoted you to panelist. Let me unmute
Hello?
you. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Hey, you can hear
Hey.
me. Perfect.
Yeah, welcome back.
Okay, I'm actually on Zoom on my phone, so I can't share a screen.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you
you can
sent
just,
me here. All
you
right.
can,
Okay, I know. I'll share what you sent me on Twitter.
yeah, that's why that was my backup.
Okay. All right. That was smart, Tracy. You know, you're definitely always prepared as a trader. You have to be, right? So let's see if I could whoop.
So, I mean, that's going to be kind of for later. I don't know if you want to kind of go over what happened this morning or,
Yeah,
whatever, but
let's start with that. Do you know, have they named the who, was responsible for
so
damaging those tankers?
no, nothing has been named yet. There's been a statement released by both of the ship management companies. Neither one of them, just to note, has said the word attack. As of yet, everybody's safe. And actually, there were two tankers owned by two different companies. The firm that operates Front Altair told the AP that the explosion was a cause of a fire on board.
Okay.
And for the other one, they just didn't say anything. They just basically said it's BSM management company. And basically they just said that there was an incident and the crew had abandoned ship and were rescued and everything like that. So there's a lot of misinformation going out there right now. So I just think everybody needs to slow down, take a deep breath, and wait until we actually get some credible, verified information, because most of the information was coming from the Iranian press, which I always say take with a grain of salt.
Okay, yeah, but watch your sodium intake. Right, Trace? So,
Right?
you know what? Trace, I have to tell you something that, your reputation really precedes you. A lot of respect in the community for your looks. And, I mentor some people, and I was, attempting, I put the crew short up, I was attempting shorts here against a megaphone line. And, my mentee said, well, shy girl, she's looking for 65, 66. I said, well, huh? You?
Just now? I mean, now?
No.
Oh.
Can you see the screen?
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Okay, so I was shorting it here, and they're warning me about your call, okay? And I wish I would have waited for your call. Anyway, I finally did catch it, the tough money, and then I missed the retrace, and I was looking for 10, which would be, this was 650 or so 1.618 would have taken it to 54. So, I mean, the speed and rapid decline, the nature, how vicious this decline was, what's your take here? I can't really get short here. I would love a rally, say, back towards 56, 58. Is the market going to give us that opportunity, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit oversold right now, obviously. We had this incident come right in time. I mean, it kind of, if you look at like a 4 hour or, one day, we kind of double bottomed here.
Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, you kind of,
Yeah.
we're kind of sitting on this, there you go, we kind of double bottomed here. So, I think if we can get,
Above 55?
above 54,
Uh-huh.
that we could probably do a little bit of a retrace back to that 56 area.
Okay, so I saw some guys being interviewed on Futures Now yesterday, and they were saying that there is a ray of hope for, people looking for a little lift in crude because of, I believe, gas demand and what was happening at the refineries. Are you seeing anything fundamentally that could generate a pop here? Besides boats being tankers being
right.
attacked?
And besides that, I mean, really, I mean, there's, this big decline has been basically on that global growth slowdown kind of theme, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had PMIs contracting everywhere. Asia looks terrible. China's looking like they're slowing down, and they're a major, they're the buyer of last resort. They're,
right.
Everybody's counting on them to, buy everything. So I think that overwhelming theme kind of was taking over the oil market and, elevator down.
Okay.
But there are definitely some bullish cases for oil, as
Okay.
moving forward.
Could,
I mean,
could this be what you're talking about, the price forward curve, or
So,
would it be the
yes.
other chart?
No, that's the Brent chart. So really,
Okay.
I mean, this is kind of a separate issue, but I mean, let's just go over quick, like some of the bullish cases. Obviously, we have, Venezuela oil decline. We have sanctions on Iran and Venezuela. We still have problems in Libya going on. And then going into the third quarter here and into summer, what we're going to start to see is we had a heavier than usual refinery maintenance season, which was also plagued by a bunch of outages. So as we move into summer, because they were prepping for IMO 2020. So as we move into summer, all these refineries are going to start kicking into gear again, and we should start seeing a drawdown of some of the huge stock build that we have had. And then going into third quarter, we have IMO 2020, which is going to, we're going to have to switch to, marine vessels are going to have to switch to a different kind of fuel. They'll probably use marine gas oil. This switch adds like 1.5 million barrels per day. And in order to make that much marine fuel, we're going to have to run an additional 2.2 million barrels per day of crude oil. So that should bring down the stocks quite aggressively going into the third quarter.
Okay.
That's a little bit further out, but
yeah.
In the intermediate term, in the immediate term, we do still have a lot of bullish cases for oil. And again, it was a little bit oversold. So, if we can get over again, 54.50 area, then I think we can see a move back to 56. Otherwise, this will continue down.
Okay, what was that called? The preface before 2020. What is that? A federal mandate?
IMO, yeah.
What's it stand for? IMO.
Now you got me. I think it's like marine something.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's mainly only about.
It's about fuel. Just marine fuel, exactly.
Okay.
It's a switch from a different sulfur grade. So they're going from high sulfur to low sulfur grade.
Okay.
In a nutshell, without getting too specific.
You have any view on what's going on in Venezuela? Does it worry you at all that how we're lined up with the U.S. on one side and China and Russia having boots on the ground there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, something to keep an eye on. So far, I don't really think that the U.S. is going to go in and attack, or invade or even try to get into Venezuela. That window of opportunity sort of passed a few years ago. Russia and China still have a stronghold there, and Venezuela is so indebted to them. So I don't think we're going to see a huge escalation. I know that there are some people out there that think so, but in my opinion, I don't think that we're, going to see that. Again, if Maduro does finally leave, because he's pretty much out of money for protection at this point, I think the oil market would see that as a positive, even if they can't get oil online for, it'll take them quite a while to get oil back up to, the production level that it once was, but the oil market would react positively to that.
So is it really, can we blame this price decline besides the narrative of a weakening global economy to U.S. production? A lot of talk that it's just U.S. production, and aren't we starting to get to price levels where it's not going to make sense to keep fracking and producing oil at these levels?
I mean, we'd have to have a sustained oil price, a sustained low oil price. I mean, we could get to $40, and
it's still pump at 40.
Yeah, they would still pump. They're still getting loans from, so as long as they keep getting loans at 40, they'll still keep pumping. And I don't think the market, and the market would have to literally, be sustained at that level, because the oil market doesn't feel today's prices as far as, CapEx and production is concerned for like 6 to 9 months. So if we stayed at those levels for 6 to 9 months, we would definitely start having some issues.
Okay, and let me ask you about this attack. To me, it looks like, Tracy, I would take a shot at 50 if we broke down there. We have some type of divergence. I want to ask you about Iran, and this attack happened in the Gulf of Oman, and everyone's, the Gulf of the Straits of Hormuz is a different location than the Gulf of Oman. Could this have been maybe like a test case? And
I mean, I don't know. I don't really
a foreshadowing of something that might happen in the Straits of Hormuz.
I mean, that the thing is that with the Straits of Hormuz, the problem is that it doesn't benefit Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz, because they still need to move their oil too. So, and they've threatened this many times over
for decades.
The last
100 years.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't really think that it's in their best interest. I think it's more of just sort of like,
saber rattling.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, don't mess with us or we'll run away.
Right. I mean,
don't mess with me, man, or I'm going to turn around and run away.
And if you think about it, I mean, really, the U.S. Navy would go in there and stop that immediately. I mean, Iranian Navy is no match for the U.S. Navy. They're just not, and Iran knows that too. So I don't think that they, would actually do anything like that. And again,
some of the gloom and doomers are talking about, when it comes to the dollar, and do you think that we would need a weaker dollar to be supportive, at least in nominal terms? And we started to get inklings of it, and it's really not following through on the weaker dollar. I still think it could. Would that be supportive, and do you pay attention to that when it comes to oil prices?
I mean, I do obviously watch the dollar, and I trade it, but I mean,
you have a view on it?
You have to. I'm bullish the dollar.
Okay. All right.
And I have been. I think we might, could very well keep consolidating in this 96 to 98 range for a while.
Okay.
But I do think that we will eventually break out.
Okay. You have targets in mind up there?
My first target is 99, and then got crazy would be 102, 103.
Okay. Yeah, they sound like familiar numbers to me. Thanks for confirming some things that I'm looking for. And when you talk about what's happening in the oil market here, do you think that what we have going on in Saudi Arabia, I mean, President Trump has, really kind of just given them a pass on Khashoggi and what's going on. A lot of people say that the petrodollar is completely, it's based upon our relationship with Saudi Arabia. Do you pay attention to developments in Saudi Arabia and U.S. relations for any?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
what do you think's happening there?
I don't subscribe to the
petrodollar thing.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, oil's been priced in dollars. It's worked that way. Everybody's pricing it in dollars. Doesn't matter what currency you settle in, it's still selling in dollars. So,
okay.
I don't think Saudi Arabia is going to change the way that they price oil.
Okay, because that would be a major
even
deal,
if they did, yeah. But I mean, even if they did accept other currencies, which would be, kind of not beneficial, because then you have the whole foreign exchange to deal with.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not really beneficial for them. And again, I just don't believe that they're moving away from the dollar.
Your
time will tell.
Yeah, the tincture of time, Tracy. I recommend that everyone follow you. I'm not sure about this. You just trade your own account and you're on social media just to help people and guide people, or do you have a business model or anything else?
For right now, let's just say for right now, for right now, yes, I'm on Twitter and I'm just out there helping people.
Okay, and you like fast cars.
And I like fast cars. But if you want to bring up, I mean, if we want to talk about you know, a tradable idea,
Okay.
we can bring up those two curves that I gave you.
Okay. Okay. So
if we want to talk about something that I like that's tradable, if you look at the difference between, so there's the Brent curve, and I bet that's moved this. Well, this is yesterday's curve, obviously.
Okay.
I'm sure that curve's gotten a lot steeper. But
so you're looking at a spread between Brent and WTI, huh?
Exactly. I like the long Brent, short WTI.
Okay, interesting. And the rationale?
And the rationale is a lot of the fundamental reasons are behind why the spread, this prompt spread in Brent oil is so steep, right? And so right now we have too much light crude on the market right now. U.S. stocks are still, 39 million barrels we've added since the beginning of the year. So you can see this in the curve, right? And then we've had all the problems that we've had in the Brent market with the heavier crudes, we can see this in the curve. So, and this crude curve has gotten steeper and steeper and steeper. So again, I just think that if you wanted a spread play instead of, outrights.
Do you go like one by one? Are the contract specs the same?
Yeah, one by one. I mean, if you have ICE, there's an actual spread that you can trade. Otherwise, if you're just on CME, then you can just do, you can do a one by one. And then there are some other platforms out there. Some of the other platforms, like I think TD and E-Trade, have sort of have spreads that they have built into their platforms already.
So these
it really just matters on your
who your broker is and et cetera. So these kind of spread opportunities, they don't happen that often, do they?
No, not like this. I mean, people play them all the time, but I just think there's a lot more in it this time than normally.
Okay.
Right.
So
and you're kind of hedged too, right?
Right. You're on the price movement. So you're recommending long Brent, short WTI.
Yes, I do like that spread.
Okay. And current spread on it right now is about ballpark.
So the NN spread has blown out a lot. I mean, I started trading this a couple of months ago. We were at $6. It's now at $11. But you could go, some of the other, if you go a little bit further out, because, as the months move up, this curve will, move up. So if you go to like a September spread, I think there's still room in that one, or a D spread.
Okay. And how are you managing risk on that in case it doesn't
obviously,
doesn't
I mean,
expand?
Obviously, I mean, whatever your risk tolerance is and wherever
Okay.
you feel comfortable placing your stop.
And what would be kind of an objective you'd look for on this if it
So, I mean, I
went
think
your
that,
way?
I think that, this, well, since it's already kind of in double digits, but I think that this does have some, room to run. I think, even something like the September spread, or, August spread, because of IMO 2020, this should blow out the spreads a little bit more as well. So, anything in the third quarter, I like it, and think it probably has, maybe another, $4 or $5 in it.
Okay, great idea. I rarely hear about these, and I've noticed when I look at it, and I'm wondering what are the reasons why, I know they're two different crudes. One's heavy, and what we produce here is good if you're on a diet, doesn't have as much calories, right, Tracy. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on today, and thanks for your ideas and certain technical levels for us to pay attention to, and explaining to us and being sanguine about a lot of things that people try and hype up. You're really a voice of reason in a market of chaos for everyone that follows you, Tracy.
Thank you.
I'm happy to call you my trading warrior sister, and I hope that pips rain down on this spread for you, and look forward to us visiting again down the road, and appreciate you coming in and edifying face on the oil market today.
Well, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it was really great, and have a great summer in Canada. Is it warming up there? You have summer yet?
No,
Not yet? Oh, you're still wearing
not
your...
yet. Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Are you, and good, I imagine you're pulling for the Raptors.
I don't really watch.
You don't care?
No.
All right. Anyway, I mean, be their first NBA championship. Anyway, so maybe the Raptors will they'll have a lot of extra money to put on this spread that you're talking about, and I really appreciate speaking to you, Tracy. Keep up your great work, because we all love you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dale.
All right, Tracy. Everyone,
I'm
that shy girl.
I'm a big fan too. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, Stell wants an 8x10 autographed picture sent to him in Greece. So here, everyone, here's Tracy's Twitter handle. Okay,
Yep.
I used to think it was Shy Girl, but it's Shy Grill. All right, at Shy Grill.
Somebody had girls, so.
Oh really? All right. Okay. Anyway, this is who you need to follow for great insight into the energy market. And that's going to be a wrap for us. Thank you, everyone at investing.com for hanging out with us today. Good hunting. And that'll be a wrap. So everyone,
Thanks.
remember, yeah, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And I'll try and figure out how to end the meeting. I usually have an end meeting here. I'm just going to leave it, Stell. Maybe you could end it. Thank you very much, everyone. Good hunting. See you, Trace.
See ya.